Welcome back to another Sweetalks podcast. Today we got a very, very special guest, sex therapist, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Also on the radio, Mr. Sam Zia. Welcome.
Sam Zia. Everybody clapping up Sam Zia right here.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Nah, thank you for coming on.
We've been wanting this for a long time, actually. Julian actually brought this up. Before we met Brent, he said we want a sex therapist on here,
or some type of counselor, some type of therapist.
Yeah.
Like, what would you like say you are? You're a licensed marriage counselor?
Yeah, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm also trained in sex therapy. I'm studying for a PhD in human sexuality. And I have training through a lot of trauma work and stuff like that. I'm considered a trauma specialist. I work with the VA, people struggling with PTSD, and also sexual trauma.
Damn, that's crazy.
And I work with couples and stuff like that. normal mental health stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
What kind of schooling, like training, does it take to become something like that?
Just to be a licensed marriage and family therapist, you have to have a master's degree in either clinical psychology or social work. I have mine in clinical psychology, and from there I went and got ASEC training, and you get supervision with that. And now I'm going for a PhD in human sexuality at the California Institute of Integral Studies. So trying to get as much experience under my belt with this stuff as I can, because at the end of the day, if I'm going to help out the community, this is the way you got to do it. Have as much artillery behind you as possible. This is how you get it. Education.
How long did you go to school for this, and how long have you been doing what you do now?
Master's took about 2 years. Didn't take that long. It was. The hard parts were just getting used to the fact that you were going to be sitting in a room with somebody and getting comfortable with yourself in that situation. But yeah, that was 2 years, not too bad. Obviously, the 4 years, well, for me, it took a lot longer than 4 years of undergrad. And then now this PhD program, it's 2 years of academic work, and then get my dissertation, and they give you up to 7 years for that. And so that's going to be the big part of it for me, is getting that dissertation in.
What made you want to become a therapist? Were you always good at listening to people and giving advice, or?
My mom's a psychoanalyst, and I was always a radio guy. I love doing live radio and podcasts and stuff like that. So that's where my heart always was at. But I also saw how much benefit and how much reach people had from that position. If you have a microphone, you talk to a lot of people. And I was like, you know what? If I have one person with one problem sitting on me on a couch, I can help that one person. But say if somebody calls and has a problem that a lot of people have, I can give a lot of people some help just by answering one person's question. So that was kind of the approach that I had, and the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, that's what we try to do, but we get a lot of shit for it.
Yeah, we're not therapists, that's why.
Yeah, you got a whole bunch of different personalities in here, and we just kind of clash heads for it. Want. Yeah, we kind of just say what we want. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, whatever. But you said you loved radio. You did something for Playboy too. You hosted a show on there.
Yeah, back in the day, I hosted a show called The Couch on Playboy Radio. Also, when they were,
it was the casting couch.
Well, no, it's more of a therapy couch. It was me with another licensed marriage and family therapist who's a doctor, sexuality expert. Also a acro yoga specialist. She's awesome. And a dating relationship expert. And it was us three tackling one person's relationship or sex problem. And you're getting it from three different perspectives, three expert perspectives.
Damn.
That's fucking crazy.
So nobody was naked though?
Oh, it was Playboy. Well, back in the day when it was on Sirius XM, the shows that I worked and produced and co-hosted back there were a lot of nudity. I've held microphones to various. I don't know how dirty you can get.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay. I held a microphone to a squirt contest between two porn stars.
Hey, that sounds fun. Hey, was it interesting?
It was very interesting.
Did it fuck up the equipment?
No, I was good at actually making sure that the equipment didn't get damaged. That was part of the job of being a good producer is making sure the equipment doesn't break.
So you had to like just hold it from a distance?
Yeah. And there were so many things that happened that story alone is like the run-of-the-mill thing.
What's the craziest story you have from working at Playboy?
Oh, jeez.
Wait, so you were the
wait. One that doesn't involve, and forgive me for saying, one that at the end of somebody's birthday, then one of the shows would always bring a cake in, and one of the porn stars would sit on the cake, and people would eat the cake off the ass. That was like a regular occurrence. That wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
So there was people like, oh, it's her birthday today.
Well,
like,
when somebody saw a cake coming in, then everybody's like, okay, here we go.
Here we go. We're gonna eat some
more
ass
cake.
Yeah, but beyond that, there was one of the porn stars who actually wants to write the forward on a book that I want to write, and the word she's only going to write one sentence. Everything in this book is true, but she wanted to see how many Jolly Ranchers she could fit inside of her, with the goal being shooting them out at a target.
Oh, wow.
Now she could do that with ping pong balls.
She shoots balls out of her vagina?
Yeah, she didn't realize that, like, what happens if you have one Jolly Rancher in your mouth? What happens if you have two? They stick together, right?
Oh my god.
What happens if it's against your cheek?
It
sticks to your cheek. The inner lining of a woman's vagina is similar to the inside of a mouth. It's stuck to her pubic bone, and we literally had to deliver a Jolly Rancher baby.
Oh my.
There was 12 of them there, and we named it JR.
JR? Why JR?
Jolly Rancher.
Oh, shit. Junior?
Now, the thing is, it's not like I'm saying any secrets. All of this stuff happened on the air.
Oh my gosh. Wait, so afterwards when you guys delivered JR, did anybody lick it?
No. I took a picture of it. I have it somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
You have a picture of little JR?
Hey, it was his birthday.
Wait, so
you gotta have it.
and then I'm assuming the cake came after, right?
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah.
At some point. Yes.
No, so as a producer, are you coming up with these ideas, or are people bringing them to you? And
No.
Hey, let's do it.
No. The porn stars themselves, a producer at that point is just making sure the levels are right and microphones are where they need to be. They carry the show. They do whatever they want. And so at that point, it's like you just go with it at that point. It's their show. You have to make it sound right.
Wait, so how does a squirting contest come to be?
That's something that the porn stars came up with.
They're just like,
let's
squirting
just
contest.
go for it. And I'm like, wow. Okay, wait, can you come over here and hold a microphone to it? Because you got to hear this. And I'm like, all right, here we go.
Did anyone ever want to start a queefing contest?
Yes, that happened as well.
Oh my God.
That happened as well.
So do you think we got crazier with age, or we were more crazy back then in terms of the porn industry?
Oh, it's shifted. And it's especially since the internet killed it. Really? The internet made it so that the money wasn't there and the stars weren't being celebrated the same way that they were when they were on film. It was like there was a lot more, there was more of a mystique behind it, and that mystique went away with the internet. Now, there was more money-making potential directly to the artists from the internet, and it took the pandemic for a lot of them to figure it out, because a lot of them were just comfortable with getting the money from the industry, from the production companies, and they were cool with that. And then some of them adopted the webcamming and stuff, but once that pandemic hit, the game changed, and everybody got themselves an OnlyFans.
Yeah, OnlyFans changed the game. Mm-hmm. For sure it did.
So would you consider OnlyFans people as porn stars, or not necessarily?
It's not my place to put that label. It's theirs. If they want to be a porn star, they can call themselves a porn star. What they are doing is a sexual act that is on a camera. If they want to call themselves that, they can do it. If it's a person who's worked in a production company who is long known as a porn star and they're webcamming, they are a porn star on a webcam. But really, it's at the end of the day, it's just how people want to.
It's just their job.
It's what they want to, how they want to feel about themselves as they do it. If they want to if it makes them feel sexy, having that image of themselves as a porn star, then by all means ride it.
Oh, wow.
Speaking of porn, do you think that it ruins relationships?
Romantic comedies do more to ruin relationships than porn.
What? Wait,
romantic comedies.
I love rom-coms. Why do you say that?
They set up false expectations of what realistic relationships look like. They make it so that, like, how many of these movies, these romantic comedies have you seen where there's a guy who's like, if I only do this and try hard enough, the person who's been ignoring me this whole time is finally going to realize that I love them. True. You want to know what that's called in this world? Fucking stalking. If a person says no, back the fuck off.
That's true.
That's the thing.
That's true.
They set these unrealistic expectations of what ideal relationships are, and they make it seem like if there's any struggle or conflict in a relationship, like that's a sign of something hugely wrong and that they need to make some kind of grand change. And it's like, sometimes these arguments are the things that make it so that we build the right communication patterns with each other.
Yeah,
sometimes we need to have those moments. And what happens with a lot of these romantic comedies is that they make those moments seem like they are not a part of a healthy relationship, when a lot of times they're necessary. They are unfortunate sometimes when arguments come up, but the stronger relationships are ones that know how to use that as a building block.
That's true. So what's your view like on, does rom-com fall under the same thing as like TikTok, where you see like these guys buying their girls a bunch of flowers and a bunch of chocolates and stuff like that? Because we've talked about this before, where we think like, you know, the girls see that and they'll look at their boyfriend and be like, damn, why can't you do something like this?
Yes. It's not so much that. That's something that I'm okay with, because it gives people inspiration to not let romance die in a relationship. A lot of times we get too complacent, where we're like, she's gonna be there. We're like, no matter, like, that person is always gonna be there, and we take them for granted, and we don't do anything to keep the relationship fresh. A lot of times the stuff that we see on TikTok is really cool because it gives us ideas and ways that we can turn ideas that make it so it's personal, that we can come up with to make the other person feel special and feel wanted and happy. Because that's as much a part of a good relationship as anything, is the not getting complacent and always trying to keep the grass watered. Like, watering the grass is, what I mean by that is by tending to the needs of the other people, reminding them not just through words, but through actions. This is how I care about you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
How do you keep a relationship fresh then for like a long term?
Little things like that. Buying flowers if that's what they want. And pay attention to what the partner's quote unquote love language is, what their needs are, how they express it. Some people may not like gifts as part of love. Some people love having gifts, and that's the only way they know how to receive love. So you have to find someone how they love, what their style is, and then try to bend how you love in a way that fits with them. Now, the ones that are really good, that have like totally compatible love skills and love language, they don't have to put as much work into it. But sometimes a lot of people are like too hung up on the idea of, I have to just, this is what a man is supposed to do. And like, by being a man, that means, like, I'm not supposed to, like, really, you're supposed to cater to my needs, and I'm not supposed to cater to yours. And it's like, the only way you can keep a woman happy is by making sure you're tending to those needs, even if they're small ones. Like, take the time, find out what those needs are. Don't be afraid to ask. It doesn't make your dick fall off to find out what makes your woman happy.
True. That is very true. Should you ask them how many people they slept with? Is that an important question when getting into a relationship? What's your take on that?
It depends on the couple and the dynamic of the couple. If there's a strongly religious couple, then for them, like, one more than me is too much. I'm not gonna criticize people's motivation for wanting to have or wanting to question how many partners somebody has. They're going to have different motivations for that. Personally, it's nobody's business, because everybody's history is the thing that led them up to the moment that they're there with you in that moment.
So you think that question shouldn't even be asked at all?
It can be asked. If you are serious about the person, then the answer isn't important.
Yeah, personally, I don't really give a fuck.
Think about the impact of asking that question. Now the person you ask that question to is going to be like, is he judging me?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
Yes,
what do you think?
Well, honestly, I feel like.
Be honest.
I would honestly, like, if they asked me, I would think, fuck, are they judging me?
Exactly.
Right?
That's the thing. And at that point, it's like, it may not cause too much friction within the relationship, but it causes just enough of a thing within somebody's mind where they're like, am I too much of a man whore?
Even girls too.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And I'm only speaking from my perspective, but I'm sure from women's perspective, they get slut shamed hard.
Yeah, way more than guys.
Yeah.
Way more. Like guys, like the higher the number, it's almost like high-fiving each other.
Yeah.
Well, where with a lot of, and it's not so much like within women themselves, it's within the expectations from society putting on women about the guilt about how many people that they've been with.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Like you said, fucking guys are high five about it. But I feel like when a girl would ask me, like, and I'm really trying to pursue her, I'm taking her serious, I'm like, fuck, should I actually tell her the truth or do I lie? Like, should you lie about that, do you think?
The best answer is always the truth. Always. Because if they can't accept you for being transparent, then they can't accept you. I mean, and if it's one lie, that becomes part of the foundation. If they can't accept you, that lie is part of the foundation of that relationship. And everything that gets built forward in that relationship is on that foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one lie can fuck it up.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like in order to cover that lie, a lot of times, what do you have to do?
Keep lying.
Exactly.
Lie.
And that's the problem.
Yeah, you gotta keep lying.
And if it starts off as something small and stupid, one small stupid lie can escalate into years of a lie becoming a big, ugly problem that once that lie gets turned out, then it's like, I just spent years of a relationship with you, and I don't even know who the hell you are.
Have you seen that in counseling?
I've seen that, yeah.
And does it turn out ugly, or like do they usually work it out?
If they are capable of communicating the truth and being like, this is why I felt compelled to not be honest with you. If they can make it so that they fall on the sword, like they've sacrificed and say, this is me, I did that, and I'm sorry. Yeah. If they can come out and tell the truth after getting caught, instead of trying to double up with more lies.
Double up.
Yeah.
Double down.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
have you seen that? Like,
oh yeah,
you know he's fucking lying or she's lying, and you're just sitting there like watching him lie.
Well, no, I don't have to watch them. They know.
Yeah.
They can tell, and it's like they'll come to me like, we had issues this week. And they'll tell me all about the issue. And it's like all because one person knows and the other person's lying.
Damn.
So
it starts small.
So do you feel like everything would be so much better if you just tell the truth the first time?
It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be with the person you're telling the truth to.
But do you have a chance of getting her back?
Yeah, at that point, if you give them the truth, it's up to them whether they want to come back. You can try to sweet talk them, but hopefully you're using more truth to sweet talk them. But if the reality of you is not enough, then you need to recognize that.
Yeah.
Like it's like me sitting there like trying to sweet talk like Angelina Jolie or something, somebody who's like super gorgeous, super hot and everything. It's like, you know what? At some point, the realization is going to have to click in. We are not in the same league. You're way better than me, and you should be shooting for way better people. And I have to recognize that if I'm not, the truth about me isn't good enough to match the kind of person I'm aiming for, then I need to actually reevaluate myself. Because if everything about me is based off of a lie, everything's going to be seen through. Yeah. Everything is going to become transparent at some point. And at that point, it makes it so that the breakup process becomes like this big thing of like, you were lying to me the whole time and I don't even know who you are. And then it just becomes nasty and bickering. And I hate breakups that end like that.
So have you ever seen someone come out with the truth after a long time and their relationship grow because of that?
Absolutely. Because they had enough respect at some point to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like and it's one thing if they get caught and then tell the truth. That is like, okay, it took somebody getting caught. before you to tell the truth. But thank you for telling the truth.
Yeah.
There are people who get caught and
My
keep
bad.
doubling down on the lie. And that's the problem.
And that's the problem. Yeah.
And there are people, if they are honest, like I did this before it even comes out and I needed to tell you, then it's like you're giving me all of the respect I need. You're respecting me. Maybe you made that mistake, or you may not even view it as a mistake, but you made that decision and you had enough integrity and enough respect for me to come to me and tell me the truth. I may
can't
want
risk
to.
that.
I can't hate on that. I may be pissed off at what happened, but I'm not going to be mad at them at that point.
Yeah.
I got to respect that, and I've been in that personal situation where people have been honest with me about cheating on me afterwards. Like I kind of suspected, and then they're like, yeah, that's what happened. And then there are people who double down on lies. And then it's like, yeah, you get no respect because it's not so much the act of cheating, it's the lies that come up with it and the insulting of the intelligence after it's been caught.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, relationships can be salvaged from lies and cheating, but it has to start with transparency and honesty.
Yeah.
And if you want to make it so that you don't fall down that pit hole or that rabbit hole or into that that pothole,
Just tell the truth.
tell the truth. Just be like, if you are okay with yourself, whoever you're with and whoever you're shooting at, if they're not okay with you, fuck them. You don't need them.
Yeah.
Spitting real shit right
If
here.
you fucked up, you
Yeah.
fucked up.
You
Yeah.
fucked up. You gotta let it go.
Yeah. Just accept you.
You said you've been in a room where there's two people and you, like, let's just say one person knows the other person is lying.
Yeah.
So why do some people stay with the cheater?
Familiarity.
What do you mean by that?
You become so familiar with the person that you can't imagine life without it. Like everybody says the grass is always greener on the other side. People who are in those relationships can't see the other side.
Yeah.
They are terrified of what's on the other side. It's like, well, the grass may be greener, but there may be a lion or a tiger or something out there that might eat me alive. And while this situation might be destructive, it's comfortable.
So would you recommend that person stays or they try to get to the other side?
Get to the other side.
How do they do that though?
Yeah.
That term that I used, it's destruction but comfortable. Comfortable destructiveness. That right there is like the definition of depression, where you're sitting on a couch, you know what you have to do to feel good, but the only thing that you want to do is just sit on the couch and just stare at the TV. You know that getting up and doing anything else will make you feel better.
Yeah.
But the voice in your head sitting there saying, you don't need to get up. You don't know what's out there.
And it feels good right here.
Yeah, exactly. Something dangerous could be out there. Something scary could be out there. You don't know what's out there. However, right here next to me, safe. And the thing is, depression doesn't lie. They don't tell you the whole truth, but it always plays on things that are facts. If you want to sit on that couch, yeah, it feels good. You're tired. You want to rest. But you know that, a little enough rest is good, but too much makes it so that we're just stagnant. We're not going anywhere. That's depression. And that's the thing, is that people get so comfortable in that destructiveness and that cycle that they can't see themselves taking that step. They can't see themselves getting off that couch. It's like, how many of you have that old beat up hoodie?
That you just don't want to let go.
Exactly.
I got that one.
That's the thing. It's an old beat up hoodie that feels good. It's familiar, but it's barely serving as a hoodie anymore. It's got holes in it. It's
Shit
not
smells.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to get a new hoodie. You need to do something different. And that's the point, is that you need to be able to, for people stuck in that situation, I always recommend get up, do something, get out. If you can tell this relationship isn't the right way, then what are the steps that need to be taken for you to safely get out? And that's, at the end of the day, what I would hope somebody would do. And the relationships, and I always say this, relationships, sometimes the best ones, are the ones that know when to end.
Damn,
wow.
that's deep as fuck right there.
Hey.
This is the most crazy. This is real shit.
Yeah, this is deep. This is like
we've had relationship experts on this show, but like, damn, you're
None
like
of
a
them.
real expert, dog.
Yeah.
This
So
is
like so what you're saying, like relationships that end, right? Are
Yeah.
good ones. So if you went through like a year of like just having fun with your significant other, but like shit's going down the wrong road now, would you suggest, you know what, let's take our separate ways now?
Well, it depends. It depends on what that relationship is built on. If they're if it looks like they are going down a path where they had their fun and that's it, then you can part ways with both people being like, yeah, there's nothing more than we had already, and just walk away. But if there's something more to it, a lot of times after a summer of fun, what ends up happening? You have a kid. Then the walking away process becomes a little bit more dicey, and you have to find ways to make it so that, I mean, if you have that situation, how to walk away and make it so that you're not wanting to destroy each other on the way out because you have a kid.
So do you think it's better for people to date just for the experience, or like date for marriage?
Depends on what their motivation is. I would say dating for experience is great, but it's also something that makes it so that if you're so locked into it, if your ultimate goal is for marriage, then you may just get kind of tied into the experiential thing. Like, I want to experience more and more and more. And a lot of times, unless you can find somebody who is willing to explore with you, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah, but aren't you like hurting the other person too if you're doing that?
Yes.
So you gotta live with hurting other people if you're.
Well, you have to walk away at that point. If you know that what you're doing is hurting someone else, you got to walk.
But wouldn't that hurt them by walking away from them if they wanted
temporarily,
to stay with you?
right?
Temporarily. It's
the hard part of leaving somebody.
It's part of the reason why a lot of people don't break up is because they don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. And
that fucking sucks.
Think about that.
Yeah.
You have two people who don't want to hurt each other's feelings. How long of a relationship are they going to have before one of them finally says, you know what, I can't do this anymore? They could go 20 years.
Damn.
They could go a long time being polite to each other, back and forth, and ignoring every one of the red flags and every one of the problems in the relationship just because they may like the stability, the familiarity, but they're just not taking the step. Something is keeping them from wanting to walk away and explore and find themselves, or have enough time and not be afraid to communicate with their partner about what their needs actually are, to see if maybe the other partner actually wanted to do the same thing the whole time as well.
That's true because
wait,
I feel like communication is like,
well, I mean, what I mean is like, say if somebody wanted to explore having an open relationship, and one partner in the couple, but both of them are too timid about approaching that subject. They could go decades before one of them says, you know what, something I've always wanted to do is have a third person involved. And then the other person's like, oh my God, this is what I've been wanting to do this whole time, but I've been too polite and too afraid to say something.
Wait, so how could you even bring that up though?
That's part of the community.
Without insulting the other person.
Because like we
what,
said, you don't
wanting to bring a third partner in?
Yeah,
how do you bring that up?
Because like you obviously like let's say like I'm with a girl right now and we've been together for however long, like 3 years, whatever. Right?
Has she ever expressed any interest in having a, like, say if your thought is bringing another woman into?
Okay, it's not me. I'm just saying.
Well, no, okay. If your friend is thinking of bringing another woman into the scene,
in trouble.
No, I'm just saying in general. Like, let's say there's a relationship, two people, right? But you're like you said, you're scared to hurt the other person's feelings. Is it okay to bring that up?
Absolutely. Ask, like,
that'll fuck me up.
Yeah,
it's like a playful way. What's like a playful way to bring
Well, it's not. You don't have to be playful.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
can, right?
You just straight up.
Like, just say like it's always been a fantasy of mine to do this. And if the other person says me too, great. If not, then you're like, okay, it's just a fantasy.
Me too. I want another
Wait,
guy.
so I'm just. I'll put this out here. I think if my girl came up to me or something and was like, "Hey, I've always had a fantasy of bringing another guy in this situation,"
Okay,
I would kind of be like,
"That's cool. Get the fuck out of here."
That's not compatible with you.
Yeah, I would be like, I don't know.
And you're allowed
that.
to say no. That's the thing. People are allowed to ask, and people are allowed to say no.
Yeah,
but you don't think that would make me think?
Yeah, who have you been staring at to fuck them too?
Well, that's part of their past. Obviously, they're looking, if they're with you and they are serious about you, all of that stuff led to that point. But also, they know that that's probably not part of the dynamic between you two. If they have to ask after a certain amount of time, do you want to bring someone else into here? That means that you haven't been communicating well about the boundaries of the relationship from the beginning.
Okay, I see that. Okay, I see that.
Like, so put your foot down in the beginning.
Don't be afraid to express it. And if it's something that's not a deal breaker for you, if it's like, you know what, I want to have an open relationship, but I really like you and I don't care if I have other people, so either way works, then that's fine. You can make that sacrifice. You don't have to say, I want to have a three-way. I'm perfectly happy with what I have here. However, there are couples that go their entire lives saying, I want to have an orgy, or I want to get into BDSM, or I want to do all of this different stuff, and they've been shamed out of asking their partner.
Wait, what's BDSM?
Bondage. Is it?
Yeah. Bondage, domination, sadomasochism, all that fun stuff. It's the whips and chains, all of that.
Okay.
That's just kind
Oh,
of.
so the freaky stuff.
My dissertation is going to be on that topic and the impact it has on PTSD in combat veterans.
Oh.
Wait, what do you mean by that? Like the combat veterans like BDSM?
Well, the ones that do they get a sense of symptom relief from their PTSD from that?
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Because
really
obviously they were in combat, right? So
Yeah.
it makes them feel good.
Yeah, well, because there's also existing studies that talked about PTSD from sexual trauma, and they put them in situations and in scenes where that were similar to where the trauma they experienced, but put the power back in their hands, so that they were able to control the situation and make it so that they can have power again, where power had been taken from them.
Oh, so they like being the dominant one.
It doesn't have to be dominant. It could be on either side.
Oh, damn.
Some people like being submissive. Some people are used to having so much control in their life that this offers them an opportunity to finally let go and not have control.
Oh, shit.
And that's what PTSD at the end of the day is: control being taken away from somebody, so they had no impact on what was happening around them, and they had to just survive. And then whenever that kind of thing happens, people put up their guard. And especially if you're in that situation for a prolonged time, the defense goes up. And once you're removed from that situation, the defense never comes down. And that's what PTSD is.
Man, that's crazy. That's sad.
Oh, shit. Yeah. So going back a little bit, right? Like going back to you being in front of all these porn stars and the Playboy and all that, right? Do you feel like... I don't even know how to put this. Okay.
Be direct.
Yeah, be direct.
Okay.
I thought you said be erect.
Like, do you...
Working with a professional right now.
Wait. First off, did you ever meet Hugh Hefner?
No, I went to the mansion while he was still alive, but I never actually had a chance to meet him. Everybody else I worked with met him.
At the mansion, was there like, how was it? Was there just like a bunch of like naked girls, or like, is that just like...
No, there were
in-house
naked
boning?
girls there, but there were also clothed women there.
You've been bricked up before in front of everybody, huh?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
If he's ever been bricked up.
You've been bricked up before in front of everybody? Like,
Oh, jeez. No, because at that point it would be like the way it... Well, no, not unprofessional. Everybody else around them is.
Have you ever...
Everybody's bricked
And
up.
I don't want to be
weird.
one of the mystery bricks.
Yeah. It'd be like a questionable boner.
A boner in the shape of a question mark.
And the head's the dot.
So, I mean, you would go to the Playboy house, what,
I'd been there once. I had gone there
time.
one time, and it was for a corporate party that they were throwing there.
Oh, how was the party there? I need to
Amazing. It was just awesome. They threw a huge party, stage, concert, live music, everything. I got in the grotto.
You got in the grotto?
I got in the grotto. There was a glow-in-the-dark football that was there at the end of the night, and I went and I grabbed it. I still have that football.
So for the people that don't know, what's the grotto?
It's like a cave where they have a hot tub.
Okay.
And it's a very nice hot tub.
Badass.
Wait, how was the girl to guy ratio there? Was there like way more girls?
The women were wearing far less clothing than the men, but the ratio was a lot to a little. A lot of men were sitting and observing and were like, oh my God, I only see this stuff in porn. And the women were like, this is the grotto.
They were sitting because they had a bump. We are going to take a break from this podcast, and we're going to have a word from our sponsor, ShipStation.
The absolute best, right?
They're beasts.
How many times have we fucking talked about ShipStation?
Like a million.
And why do they keep coming back? Because people like you guys keep fucking using the code.
You guys are business-minded.
Having success with
Future
it.
billionaires.
That's what I like to see. Future
That's what I like to
billionaires. That's
hear.
what our landlord tells us.
He does tell us that. It's crazy.
Tell them why ShipStation is the best, though. What do they do?
So ShipStation, it basically puts everything into one UI, user interface, for those of you guys that don't know.
Yeah,
If you do e-commerce. So if you have stuff from Etsy, Amazon, Shopify, your own website, basically what it does is it puts all the orders into one interface so that it's just so much easier for you to manage.
Way easier, and it's gonna find you the best and lowest shipping rates, because that's important. If your shipping rates are too high, you're basically fucking yourself. You're
fucking. We did it when we first did our merch. It fucking sucked. I think we ended up losing like $2,000 because we picked the highest shipping rate and we weren't using ShipStation like complete dumbasses.
Why would you guys want to pay more for shipping if you don't have to?
Exactly.
Like a jackass.
Shipping is probably one of the most complicated things. So if you use ShipStation, it literally takes away the headache, the drama, the baby mama, fama, the llama. It takes away all that shit. So that is why you go to ShipStation.com today and you sign up with promo code SWEET for a free. How much does that cost?
Free. I think it's free.
It's free $99.
There you go.
60-day trial. That's 60.
60?
That's fucking amazing. You guys are dumbasses.
60 days or 6 days?
60.
Oh, so like 2 months.
Like 2 months.
Oh, you can make shit happen right
Shit,
there.
if it was January and February, it'd be like 2 and like 2/28 of a month. Like,
yeah, you're right about that.
What the fuck?
So start today and get up before the biggest shipping season of the year. That's true because Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, come on.
That's huge. Black Friday is coming up.
Thanksgiving.
We know a lot of fucking people who do e-commerce and they get very, very rich.
They are
during
pumped
Black Friday.
right now.
During Black Friday.
You know what? Even if you don't even fucking sell anything, just use ShipStation because it's free. 60-day trial.
That's 2 months free. Visit ShipStation.com. Click the little microphone at the top and type in code SWEET. That's 2 months free. Visit ShipStation.com and click the microphone at the top and type in code SWEET.
And back to the rest of this podcast.
You had a question?
Yeah, I wanted to ask: has any of like the porn stars been like to you, like, "Hey, fuck it, just join in"? Like,
I'm the one guy I think who's ever been kicked out of an AVN party for fucking.
What?
I was in the bathroom with the girl that I was with at the time. We were together. It's not like I was like with a porn star, and I think that was probably what was bothering him because there were porn stars that were actually fucking in the same place, just outside in front of everybody. Yeah. And it was one of the after-hour parties, not like in public. It was one of the hotel rooms and stuff. And so me and the girl I was with, we were just feeling it. We went into one of the bathrooms, privately had a moment. As soon as we got out, security booted us. They said, "You can't be doing that." I'm like, "But they're doing it right there." It was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, no.
Come on, let me get my shit off.
I think part of what I think a part of what, like, I guess the reputation I have with porn stars is the fact that I've never tried to do anything with them.
Oh, wow.
So it's really respectful.
Well, it's not just being respectful. That's their job.
Yeah.
And everybody that they encounter. And I learned this from them, hanging out with them at like porn star karaoke, stuff like that. But every person that they encounter thinks that they want to fuck them.
Yeah.
They don't. That's their job. They make money doing that.
Yeah.
They don't want to go and fuck. Some people like fucking fans. That's their own thing. But most people just they look at it as a business. That's what I make money with. It's a job. So the furthest I think I've ever gone was I had a snuggle with a porn star, and it was because they didn't want me to be alone after a night where some sad shit happened. Like mutual friends had some really bad stuff happen, so like, you shouldn't be alone tonight. And we ended up just like having a snuggle all night, and that was it.
That's
now,
nice.
That's
cool.
That's
Were you gripping on anything?
Stupid. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it's up to them if they want to fuck you. So there's a lot of people that go to, like, say, the AVN show or to XBiz or one of these conferences. A lot of people, like, there's certain people that are very respectful, but then a lot of people are, like, super disrespectful because they think immediately that these women want to fuck them. And if not, well, fuck them. They fuck everybody anyway, so they suck. And it's like they forget that they're fucking human and that this is their job.
Yeah, I get you.
It is their job.
Like they come at him like, hey, I'm trying to fuck.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, you're a fucking hoe anyway. Fuck you.
And I found out after the fact that there were a couple of porn stars that like, we really wanted to do stuff. I was like, well, why didn't you tell me then? One person, one person thought she did something with me.
What?
But she didn't. It was with somebody else, and it was because it was during a Halloween party, and this guy showed up dressed as a flasher. He had a disguise on his face. She thought that was me, and it wasn't. And she ended up like hooking up with the guy. And then like 2-3 weeks later, we were hanging out. She's like, "Why are you acting so cold to me?" And I'm like, "I didn't know I was acting cold. What's going on?" Well, we hooked up a couple weeks ago, and then you just didn't hit me up ever since. I'm like, "We didn't hook up." What the? And she was like,
shit.
she thought it was me. It was someone else.
She was fucking on.
She thought she was fucking that. So I spiritually had sex with the porn star, but not actually. But it's not. I mean, for me, it's like almost like I'm humbled by that. It's like they do that for a living, and everybody else fixates on them. So if they want to do that with me, I'm like, wow. Okay, thank you. That's really nice of you.
Yeah. And speaking of getting bricked up, right? Does the brick size matter?
It depends on what the woman gets off on.
What do you mean by that?
Some women, women are snowflakes. Everyone's different. Everybody
So
gets off on different things.
Some girls like a bigger brick.
Some women don't want any brick.
They want fingers.
No, they want a mouth. They want hands. They want everything else. Some people like their elbows touched. Shit, whatever happened to people's elbows? Give elbows love. We are immediately going in on the pussy and the dick and all of that shit. And like,
you need to show some elbows love.
You gotta give the elbows some love every once in a while.
The fuck? You like fidgeting with it?
Imagine my arm about to come.
Well, no,
damn.
Really, because we tend to like fixate so much on like the act of sex and everything involved with it that we forget that the entire body is still connected. Yeah. So it's like, just be mindful of like, not like in the middle of it, wait a sec. No, it's just like,
You're talking about like the neck kisses, like the back.
Everything.
Like the foreplay.
The whole thing. Yeah, all of that. See, the thing is, there are certain women, some women love a giant dick. They call them size queens. They love to have somebody huge or a giant toy or something fucking with them.
Oh, you're a size queen now, bitch?
Yeah, no, some of them are all about that. More power to them. There are plenty of men and plenty of toys out there that can cater to their needs. Right. Some women love riding faces. Some women love it in the ass. Some women
I must be women.
some women get this, don't like it at all. And that's okay. It does. A lot of times guys fixate on size when they're worried about how the person that they're with is going to interpret them. And at the end of the day, it's what the woman or their partner gets off on, what they like. If they want a bigger dick, great. If you don't have it, then they're going to be more likely to say, you know what? It's just not the right fit with us, and I might want to move on and stuff. So and then they'll find maybe find a different reason, or maybe directly say your dick's not big enough. I'm out.
Oh wow!
They want to be. A lot of times they want to spare a person's feelings, so they'll make it more like, this is about me. This isn't about you. You're awesome. This is about me and my need for a bigger dick. That's fine.
Oh my God! Imagine hearing that shit.
Yeah,
but why don't you just tell me
I
that
hear
straight
that
up?
all the time.
But do you think girls stay with guys that, even if they got a small dick?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, you want to know why? Because that woman may not give a shit about fucking a dick. They may want to fuck a face.
True.
That's true.
I've been with women who love fucking faces, and I'm like, okay, keep going, because I have no problem with that.
Face
and
fucking
Munch.
Just munch.
Some women are like, I want you to pound the hell out of me. Then go ahead, use your dick, do whatever you can. But at the end of the day, it's up to if we aren't going to be selfish and just say this is all about me and my needs, and because really we could just stay home and jerk off if that's the case.
Facts.
It's about making it so that we're
Jerking off
sharing
makes you not
pleasure
care.
with somebody else. We're communicating what makes each other happy. This is what I like. And the other person says, yeah, this is what I like. Slow down. And don't be afraid to fucking ask. Say, hey, what are you into? Am I doing this too hard? Do you want me to slow down? Do you want me to use my fingers? Do you want me to play with your clit? Do you like your ass licked? Whatever the fuck it is.
Go
No,
communicate.
I agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
I
Go
agree
above
and
and
beyond,
beyond.
yeah.
I've definitely, you gotta ask that
You gotta
shit.
ask your
Yeah.
partner for
Yeah.
sure.
So part of it, like, we were talking earlier about threesomes and how to bring someone in. Part of that dynamic and communicating is making it so that it's safe to express those desires, and without a feeling of judging them for it.
Do you want your
So it's
ass
just
licked
like-
by another guy? She's like, you just asking.
She's sucking you and you're like, damn, I wish there was another one right here.
Oh,
Imagine.
See, and that's the thing. You're doing that in a
two
heightened
of you would
state.
fit.
At that point, she might do something drastic and bite your dick off.
Oh, okay,
you have,
yeah.
What if she was?
What if she...
Or she
these
might
are
call up her
responds with,
homegirl.
I want
Yeah.
somebody too here right behind me. A guy.
Oh, no.
Well, no, these are where those conversations happen ahead of time when you're
Yeah.
not doing that stuff.
Where your dick can't get chopped off.
Like how many of y'all has asked this of a person not while you're not in bed? What are your fantasies?
I never asked that question.
I've never asked for fantasies. I've asked like what they
I'm
enjoy
scared-
or what
I'm
they
s-
like.
yeah.
Are
I'm
you
scared
afraid
of-
of what the
I'm
response
scared
is?
of ask what's your fantasy. 'Cause
Really?
Gosh, a train ran
I would
on me?
ask.
I'm not scared of it. I think I'm.
You would
I
ask?
just
All right,
haven't
what if
asked.
she said, I want 6 guys in me, one
Then-
after another?
Oh, get the fuck out.
Then we'll have a conversation
then
about
you
it.
have that- then that
I would,
becomes-
then I would want to know, to be honest. Fuck it.
Then ask, is that a deal breaker between us? Because
Yeah.
I'm not willing to do that.
Right.
Is that a deal
I like
breaker?
that.
Wait, so is that the same thing as asking, like, oh, would you ever do, like, handcuffs and, like, tie? Is that,
Yeah,
like, fantasy?
communicate. Absolutely communicate that
Yeah,
stuff.
see, I've asked shit like
And
that.
by the way, if you're
Yeah.
gonna ever use handcuffs, make sure you have a fucking key.
Oh, what's
Then
that
you-
one movie from Netflix?
Oh my god.
I've had to pick handcuffs. Somebody on a podcast where a bondage expert brought handcuffs and handcuffed the host and forgot to bring the key.
So
And
much
I
for an
learned
expert.
that I can pick handcuffs.
That's actually, that comes in handy. So I don't know if like this kind of belongs with you being a sex therapist, but what like is there any tips or advice for guys on how to last longer in bed?
Think of baseball players. No, I don't know. Honestly,
What's wrong with
a lot of that stuff is keyed into anxiety. Like a lot of that stuff is tied into us being anxious about what's going on in front of us. A lot of times, sometimes people will watch a lot of porn so that they're already like the real thing is right here in front of me, and they're already on third base. They're ready to jump off and like ready to come right off the bat because they've been seeing all that stuff in porn, and now this is real deal in front of them.
So that's a real thing then?
Yeah.
Because I've been looking into that recently,
So
actually.
for some people, if they are watching a lot of porn, maybe they have to just dial back the porn usage. Not entirely. They can still use it once in a while, but use your mind.
Yeah.
Use your brain to
Like jerk off?
Yeah.
use the spank
Close
bank.
your eyes.
Oh, no, because
A
I've been
spank
searching
bank,
about jerking off and, like, if there's actually benefits
Absolutely.
not doing it.
Oh no, there's a lot of was it the people who wanted to take the entire month of not jerking off?
Yeah,
No
like,
nut
what's the
November.
deal? Like, no
nut
fapping.
no nut November.
Yep.
God damn, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
So
The people who did not nut for an entire month, your body is gonna force that shit out anyways at night. It's gonna do it when you're asleep. It's gonna happen.
So you
it
think-
doesn't matter if you want. That stuff's gonna come out.
So you
it's a
think-
natural physical process.
you think jerking off is beneficial? Like you need to do it?
It helps.
It helps you not give a fuck too.
Helps
Well,
you sleep at night?
Well, no, there's definite health benefits. If you want to have a healthy prostate, I think it was 12 times in a week you have to have an orgasm. I think that was part of healthy prostate.
Healthy prostate.
Yeah, but
I
there's
guess
a lot
I'm fucking healthy.
but also there's something to knowing what you are into. Like if you are going to be with somebody and somebody asks you, what are your fantasies? What are you into? If you're like, you being here and having a pulse, that is not enough.
Yeah, that's stupid.
You need to know what pleases you. And that's why if like when you ask somebody what their fantasies are, I have no problem with that response, whatever it is.
So does sex play a big role in like relationships, like a big role?
For a lot of relationships it does, for some it doesn't. It depends on the dynamic of those relationships.
For most people, would you say like being able to make the other person, orgasm is very important?
For some people it is. Usually for guys, if they can't get their wife or significant other to have an orgasm, then they are going to have it can play with their ego. And
the guys or the girls?
For the guy not being able to get their partner to have an orgasm, or to have if they're not able to give the kind of pleasure that their partner is looking for, then that can play with like a person's ego. They can make it so that they're like, what, am I not doing enough for you? And a lot of times people are like, well, I am enough, and I don't think that we should do anything different. Sometimes women like to use a toy. Get a toy. See if that helps.
It's your best friend.
Yeah. Go and find out what their fantasy is and try to cater to it. I've seen, and sometimes relationships end because of that. And that's okay, because that means that somebody wasn't telling the truth about what they really wanted, and they were hiding it. And finally, when it came out, it was a deal breaker. And they both had to go their separate ways. And they did it, hopefully, in a way that wasn't destructive.
Oh, fuck.
So do you think
It's
if a girl cheats, right, is it completely you?
What do you mean?
Like, is it, like, when people cheat, do you think it's because of other people's...
Oh, because they may not be communicating well. A lot of times that is the case.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the couples are not communicating needs, or some person is taking the other one for granted, and then they are getting those needs met by somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a physical need where it's just sex because their partner isn't willing to do certain acts or even have sex at all. Sometimes it's an emotional thing. Somebody's like, I get more of a connection with somebody outside of that relationship. The key is, I've seen relationships where, like, if you look at this, man and woman, or man and man, or woman and woman are married. One of them is having sex with somebody else. Is that cheating?
Mm-hmm.
Is it cheating?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cheating.
What if they've already agreed on it that that's not cheating?
Then that's not cheating
Then
because they
that's
agreed
not
on it.
cheating.
Exactly. That's the point. It's like we are already determining that somebody is cheating on someone when they're having sex outside of that relationship, when we haven't even figured out if their relationship dynamic accounts for that.
But you should already know if you're going to get in a relationship, you shouldn't cheat.
Exactly. But if your relationship dynamic accepts that and is like, we have an open relationship where she is allowed to go and experience her sexual pleasure with other women because that she's bisexual. And since she's allowed to go, I'm allowed to go and experiment with other women and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, the agreement is we have this. This is who we are. Yeah. And the important thing is the communication of boundaries. Within a relationship, if you're going to make that kind of a relationship work, and that's why a lot of times open relationships and a lot of like BDSM relationships are the ones that have some of the strongest communication patterns of any relationship. Damn. Because the safety and the survival of their relationship depends on it. You have to communicate.
Yeah, so they have to talk about everything. So
good.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty good.
That is.
I mean,
really
I'm not
good.
saying I would do that, but
yeah, I know that. No, the
that's
communication.
the communication.
It all comes down to the communication.
Yeah.
That's what it's sounding like.
Yeah. It really, at the end of the day, relationships survive or fail based on how well they communicate needs.
Yep.
So with the cheating thing, do you believe that there's different reasons between when a guy cheats and when a girl cheats? Because there's that whole thing with like guys cheat for sex and girls cheat because they're out of love.
Everybody's different. Everybody cheats for different reasons. For every person that is going to be cheating just because they want to, like some men want to conquer as many women as possible. That's why they cheat. Some men are like, my wife doesn't suck dick, so I want to go find someone that sucks dick. That's why they cheat.
It's just different reasons.
Some people are like,
some
some women are like, my husband is emotionally closed off from me for the last 20 years, and I'm looking for anybody to make me feel happy.
Wow.
So it's different for many reasons. Some women are like, I just want to have as many dicks around me for one weekend as possible, and that guy's not around, so bring it on.
Oh shit!
There are many.
Bring on the 12 dicks.
Yeah, no, there are many different reasons for people to do different things. The thing is, I don't judge them based off of those actions. I just base that, and I don't try to judge them really on anything. Yeah. I just try to see if they're communicating those needs, if they're being honest with their partner about those things. If they're not, then there's something really wrong there. There's something unbalanced there. Can it be fixed? Yes, but it absolutely starts with honest communication.
So this is like going back to your expertise in being like in relationships, and this is more of like a personal question, I would say, for you. For young relationships, people that are expecting to marry each other when they're really young, would you suggest that they go out and experience more things rather than just be in a relationship and expect for marriage in the later future?
Well, people's needs and desires change over time. So what may be right when we're 20, 25 may be completely different than how things are when we're 40, 45. Yeah. So that's why a lot of times when I say some of the best relationships are the ones that know when to end, those relationships may have been the perfect thing for them in those moments, but sometimes people grow apart. So, it's hard to say whether or not marrying young or marrying later is going to be a better thing. It depends on what the individual's needs are within that couple. Like if that couple is like, we get everything we need emotionally from each other. Like we're high school sweethearts and we're never going to leave each other and all that stuff. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are like, I've not met anybody that fit the bill and they're in their 40s. And then finally meet somebody and then they're like, I'm set and I'm ready. And I wasn't ready until I was 50 and I got all of this extra shit out of my system. And now I wasn't prepared before that to be a good husband. Now I am. And it depends. It's different for every single person. There's 1,001 million stories out there.
So with that, do you believe in like the whole right place, wrong time?
It happens. Yeah, like right person, wrong time. Yeah, it happens where people may be a good fit for each other later on in life, but they met each other too early and they ended up like the relationship fell apart because their needs weren't aligned at that time.
What about the saying of if you let it go, it'll come back? If you really love it or something.
There's some truth to
It's
it.
like with like a bet, no?
There's some truth to it.
I've heard that.
If you love it, let it go. If it was real, it comes back.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of truth to that. But it's also like, if you let something go and then they go and, like do all of the things that you would personally be like, I can't be around that anymore. Would you want it?
Yeah, I feel like I'll overthink as soon as she leaves. Like, you're going to go fuck the whole world.
Yeah,
well, especially because especially if you're sexually active, like how we're young, so
yeah.
If you're sexually active, you be thinking like, if she leaves, I'd be like, fuck. I gave her dick every day. She's gonna want dick every day.
Yeah, she got used to it, and now she's gonna go find a new person every day. 365.
Yeah,
fuck all that.
Wow. If your mindset is kind of like always thinking the worst. Something like that, like maybe she goes out and you're like, damn, she's probably doing this and that. Are you ready for a relationship, or like what are some ways you can get over that?
That's it's not a matter of being ready in a relationship. If you're constantly questioning someone, then that's a matter of you just not trusting someone.
That's insecurity.
And if that's the case, we have to try and go back to why that feeling of lack of trust in that person exists, because usually that doesn't just happen. It's usually old stuff that leads to someone not trusting someone. If it's one thing if like that person has already cheated on you and you know about it, then it's like, okay, well, I don't trust you in this situation. That's fair. But a lot of times people will have that mistrust of someone before, like when they haven't even done anything wrong, just based off of how that one person has been wronged in the past. So they're immediately assuming that the next person is going to do that.
So do you think cheating like completely ruins the relationship if you do cheat?
Yeah, it changes the relationship.
Like what percent? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like what percent of couples do you think can actually make it through a cheating situation?
I don't think I could throw a percentage out there. I feel like it depends on, like, for example, if they have kids. if they have kids, then their needs are going to be much more aligned towards doing what's best for the kids. So they may be more willing to weather that kind of storm. It depends on the nature of, like, say, if they cheated, the nature of the infidelity. Were they being honest afterwards when they got caught? Were they, I knew somebody who cheated, called the person afterwards and said, this is what I did and I'm sorry.
Damn, that's like true
That's
post-nut.
balls.
No, that's post-nut clarity right there.
Yeah.
They felt bad.
Yeah. And then they
you felt
immediately
bad.
like fell on the sword, and that relationship was saved. But you better believe they had trust issues,
Yeah.
and they had to work through those trust issues.
Does cheating ever make like a relationship stronger? I know it sounds dumb, but like, is there any way?
There's
Like, damn, we got through this. We could get through anything.
Well, no, what it does a lot of times, if you see relationships that survive cheating like that, it's specifically because the cheating was done in a way that exposed a bigger problem within the relationship that the other person was intending to. And it made it so that the other person was like, oh my God, I didn't know I was doing that. And you cheated on me, and that's bad. And the other person's like, I know, I feel bad, but it's only because you weren't listening to what my needs were. And the other person was like, I didn't know that was what was going on. Either they're oblivious, or if they're oblivious and they wish they knew, then those are the ones that actually may have a chance, because then they are like, I wish I knew. Now that you're telling me, I can do all of those things for you. For the ones that are like oblivious because they are purposely or they're just ignoring their partner, then that person's going to leave. That's over. Cheating will destroy that relationship.
Fucking, and
rightfully so. Those relationships a lot of times don't need to be together. Those are ones that stay together too long.
oh
Yeah.
and is like, fuck, I forgot the question. My bad.
Break up with somebody before you cheat on them. Damn. If you know what you're doing is that bad and the person's going to be that heartbroken by it, it would hurt that person in the short term, but at least they would know that you respected them enough to tell them the truth. You're like, hey, okay, thank you for jumping out. You broke my heart. You're an asshole for it, but in 2-3 years, I may be able to be in the same room as you and breathe oxygen around you.
But what if they like have that petty mindset?
Then that's an individual thing. They could be very petty and just cause more problems with their pettiness.
So do you not think that will humble a person?
What, getting caught cheating?
No, if the person does it back to you.
Oh, if you cheat and then they do it back?
Yeah, that'll humble like.
No. I mean, it can humble them, but that breaks down to a big problem that a lot of relationships have, and that's keeping score.
Wow. Getting
wow. I don't know if you've ever
get a bucket. So
have y'all ever seen The Godfather?
Yes.
Okay. The scene where after Sonny gets killed, the Godfather meets with all the heads of the different families and says, I'm foregoing my revenge. But I'm doing it for a reason. And that's the thing, is like, in those situations, people are expected to keep score and have their revenge. And sometimes the only way that you can break that cycle is by saying, I'm foregoing my revenge. But I'm doing it for a reason. And that means that reason is that now that you've been caught and you've shown remorse and you still want this relationship to work, these are the problems that existed in the relationship. These are my demands and my needs that were never met, that I've been trying to communicate that you never listened to. A lot of times it exposes what's wrong with the relationship and it gives people a chance to fix it or walk away.
Damn. That's very fucking true, I have to say.
Yeah.
So the whole keeping score is like a real thing.
Oh, absolutely. And it can be done with chores. I've seen people do that with like little things like
kids, right?
Yeah, like keeping score of how they're doing everything within the relationship. Like, well, I did this yesterday. I did the dishes yesterday, so you have to mop today. And it's like, the job needs to get done one way or the other. And if we're sitting there bickering over it, then that's a problem. That's where like a lot of times like stupid arguments and fights break out into bigger things, because they start on little tiny things that they were keeping score on. That really, how many relationships are 50-50 at any given moment right now? Not many. So most relationships are not balanced. They are shifting. Sometimes they are 60-40, and then the next day they'll be 70-80 or 70-30 the other direction. Relationships are fluid. They balance each other. It's very rarely 50-50. So if you're keeping score on all of this stuff, what happens if one person like breaks a leg and can't do all their chores? then is that other person sitting there saying, well, while you're hurt, I'm doing all of this stuff, but you're giving me a month of me not doing my chores and stuff like that. And it's like, that's not a balanced relationship.
Yeah.
It's like we cover for each other. We have each other's back. We account for each other. It's like yin and yang.
Mm-hmm. But do you ever feel like that gets to a point where it's just like, all right, I'm doing all this stuff for you. Like, I'm kind of fed up now.
Yeah, that's an unbalanced relationship.
So
communicate that.
So is that like the person that's doing more's problem, or?
It's a problem on both ends.
Yeah.
The person whose needs aren't being met isn't doing an effective job of communicating those needs, and the other person is not being attentive to the other person's needs. Like, a lot of times, all it takes is for someone just to ask,
mm-hmm.
Hey, how you doing? That's it.
It's true.
That is true. Because if she came up and told me like, oh, I need you to put more or something like that, I would listen.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd feel like butthurt or anything.
Yeah, I would. There's no problem with asking, hey, is there anywhere where you feel like I'm falling short that I could do better? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, it's not like making you any less of a man. It's just making your relationship stronger. It's not like I'm doing too much and I'm changing myself too much for another person. No, it's like, if you're in a relationship with someone, then you have to make adjustments. You have to shift sometimes. And sometimes compromises you have to give a little more than you may want sometimes. That's how compromise works. That's how relationships work. But hopefully you find someone that complements those habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on like unfriending or unfollowing your ex like on social media?
Sometimes it's necessary. If you have a relationship that ends well, then you're like, no, I want to keep up with you. Cool, no problems. Get used to seeing pictures of them hanging out with other people that they're fucking and all of that stuff. Don't have any problems with it. Hit the like button, heart, good luck, glad you're having fun. For some people, though, they need to block them, because if not, they're going to be seeing all of those moments where they may be doing something and they're going to be just sitting there by themselves.
Reminiscing. Almost.
Not just reminiscing. Doing literally nothing to move on.
Just being depressed.
Just being stuck in that one moment, wondering. And it's almost like giving somebody else the keys to your car. Here, drive my emotions wherever they're going to go. So instead of having to subject themselves to looking at Instagram and seeing them hanging out at a bar getting shit-faced with like a bunch of different dudes around, or like with the caption, it's like, I'm gonna fuck all these dicks.
Oh my gosh. I'm about to suck the fucking meat off of this shit.
It like, if that's gonna bother you, then block it. You don't need to see it. Sometimes it's necessary to block people on Instagram, but if you're gonna block, know that at that point, you're basically kissing the relationship away. If you're going to be one of these, I'm going to block you, then come back and all of that stuff, it's going to just, that's where you're just teasing yourself. And you're just playing with your own emotions at that point. And it's not necessary.
That's why you
sometimes it's important to just cut it and run.
Don't you think that you shouldn't be friends with your ex?
I'm friends with my exes. There's the ones that I'm not friends with are the ones that were dishonest and were disrespectful about how they did it. They chose not to respect me and how the relationship ended. They weren't being honest. So the ones who are honest, I'm still friends with. I have 2 kids. My kid's mom is like my best friend. She's the coolest shit ever.
But so how would that work if you break up with your ex and you guys are like still friends, you guys still keep it cool and stuff, and then you date like a new girl?
Yeah, no problem.
But she's not okay with it.
Yeah, you don't think that the girl would be okay with it?
It's
like,
not her
you
place.
still hang out?
It's not her place anymore.
And you got to set that.
That's
forth
why,
right then.
Like that's the boundary. It's like, you're allowed to go and have your own life. We didn't break up only for you to keep the leash on me.
Yeah.
Like we have to go and have our own lives and be cheerleaders of each other's happiness. Because if we have kids together, then our kids' happiness is entirely dependent on the other person's happiness. My kid's happiness is entirely dependent on my co-parents, my ex's happiness.
Yeah.
If she's happy, then my kids are going to have the highest likelihood of being happy, being successful, all of that stuff. And the same goes for me. If I'm happy, then my kids have the best chance of being successful as possible. So we look out for each other. We're cheerleaders for each other. She got engaged. I was right there for them and everything. She broke up. I was right there supportive of them. It's like, we don't have, a lot of times there are situations where people break up and it's unavoidable. You have just a shitty breakup and you can't escape it. And that's unfortunate and it sucks. And the ripple effect it has on the kids is shit. But if you don't need to be assholes to each other, don't.
Yeah.
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 Don't, yeah.
I feel like kids is kind of like an exception, but what if like, you know, with an ex that you didn't have kids with, don't you think that would be like a little bit different because there's not really anything
it depends on how the boundaries of the relationship are defined. Say if I was dating somebody, and actually this did come up, a person I was dating was very insecure about the friendship that I have with my ex, because we're like, we talk and we like send jokes every day, several times a day. Like we're talking shit about the kids or joking about random shit all the time.
Yeah.
So the person that I was dating was an incredible fit. She was awesome with me. We like very sexually compatible, very relationship compatible. We were into the same kind of stuff. She just couldn't get over the insecurity because she had some really rough relationships in the past, and she hadn't seen relationships break up where people were still friendly. She had relationships break up where they want to kill each other.
Yeah.
So it was like she couldn't understand how I could be friends with someone.
Yeah.
And break up. So that's the problem, is that a lot of times good relationships, you'll have to let them go for the co-parent, because honestly, at the end of the day, you are, even though you may be broken up with them, you still have a kid with them. You are stuck in some way, shape, or form to them because of that.
So being a marriage counselor, do you think that helps you in your own personal relationships? Like, I feel like you can't lose an argument.
No, I'm single and I've had a lot of unsuccessful relationships. I know how to get out of relationships.
So do you think that like my gosh, what's the opposite of help?
The opposite of help?
Yeah.
No help.
Yeah. Do you think like that doesn't help you? Since you know how to get out of them, so like as soon as there's like a red flag, you're like, nope, drop.
Well, no, I usually give people the time for their red flags to show if they were situational or if they were like actually like part of the game with them. If it was something that's situational, like it's a freak occurrence, then you know you give them their chance. But I've had to. I can recognize the problems and walk away. I have no problem with that.
Damn.
But at the same time, it hasn't made, if anything, it's made it so that when I'm working with clients, I now am very good at helping couples who have kids walk away from each other without killing each other. It makes it so that you find the right path based on what they need and how they have been throughout their entire relationship with each other and the needs of the kids. And then try to find the right answer that balances everybody's needs as much as possible.
So when you're in that room, are you in a room with them together when you're doing the counseling?
Up until the pandemic, I was. Now I do basically just video chat.
Oh,
I will show up to things wearing like a top like this and my basketball shorts, and people won't know the difference.
Or boxers.
Yeah.
That's that Zoom.
So when you were doing the in-person stuff before, would you ever walk in with like a security guard because you know a relationship is bad?
No.
Or
Serious
just like to break it up.
No, because it's not my job to take sides. If I was taking sides, then I'm in threat at that point. It's not my place to take sides. It's my place to be like a referee, and like
foul,
like blow the whistle. You know, unnecessary bitchiness, 15-yard penalty. And that's the thing. It's when I say bitchiness, I'm not throwing that at any like woman or man. It's like both men and women are equally bitchy. The complaints that come up in a lot of these sessions show how small the things that they're fighting about really are.
What's the youngest couple you've had to like
just for like couples therapy? Like mid-20s.
Oh, okay. So nothing happens like at 22?
Things happen. It's just most of the time people are like, I'm still 22 and I'm breaking up and I have an entire future of other relationships ahead of me. But but there's also like good relationships that they are together and they notice a problem and they're at that age and they have the capacity to be able to say, you know what, maybe we should do couples counseling.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that you say a lot of your answers are really dependent on who it's coming from and what it is.
Yes.
Is there anything that you would say is a must in a relationship? Or
communicate needs, establish boundaries, know what you're getting into before a relationship starts, you know? And also it's one thing, like if you meet somebody at church, then you're going to have an expectation that person's going to want to like have like church and religion involved in their lives, so they may want something more monogamous and stuff like that. If you're going to meet somebody, say, at a sex club, then you're probably going to have a group of people, or you're going to have a group of people that you can have a relationship with that is going to be more accepting of more partners or something more sexually adventurous. So it's like depends on what your motivation is, what you want. But communicating, that's the thing. If you communicate those needs and those boundaries, then you're going to have a good relationship. The poly relationships, the open relationships, the ones that are BDSM couples, those have some of the strongest communication patterns because they have to. Where a lot of the vanilla relationships are too ashamed to communicate their basic needs. Mm-hmm. And there's like that shame aspect is huge. Religion throws a lot into that aspect, but it's also like there's like cultures on this planet that based everything off of that sense of shame. Yeah. So it's amazing how little people communicate their needs and desires sexually with their own partner because of their sense of shame about it.
Honestly, I was just gonna spitfire because I know we only said that we were gonna keep you on here for about an hour 30. I don't
hey,
want to make you
I'm
late.
cool. I'm cool with whatever. I cleared up my schedule. I got maybe karaoke tonight at 9.
Oh shit!
Ooh. Wait, what is that?
Yeah,
fucking sex karaoke.
Yeah.
No, he's not doing that tonight though.
No, that's not happening.
What's the porn star karaoke?
Porn star karaoke was something that existed. It was the longest running weekly function that the adult film industry had. And it was like every Tuesday night at Sardo's in Burbank, we would gather. And I used to live up the alley from there, and I would go there for karaoke on other nights. I was intimidated by Porn Star Night, specifically because they were hot porn stars. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go and do karaoke other nights. And then I went there one night, and the crowd was the coolest. They were so nice and supportive. And we just kept coming back. And that's it was created like 15, 16 years ago by someone who was a makeup artist in the industry. And every week, porn stars would show up and sing songs. It was also a meeting place where people would, like people within the industry could meet the fans, but also can do business with each other, come up with different ideas for shoots, different
fuck this way.
Yeah, well, no,
fuck me this
like,
way.
or if an artist wanted to perform with somebody else that worked with a different company, those are the place where a lot of those meetings happen were at Porn Star Karaoke.
So like nobody's naked or nothing.
Titty occasionally flops out, but that's
but it's literally just singing.
Well, it's singing, but it's like porn stars. Like I had on my birthday one year, I had a 10 porn star lap dance at Porn Star Karaoke.
At once?
One song, all of them like take turns, and then the last one was one of my buddies who's a dude. He goes and puts just his dick over my shoulder. I'm like, god damn.
You came behind you.
And that's the thing. It was like 10 different porn stars, and it was the girl I was with at the time was the one who set it up too. That was the cool thing.
Cool.
I thought
those boundaries.
That's cool.
That's that communication.
And that's the thing. That was within the boundaries of that relationship. And sometimes relationships, the ones that are great are the ones that know how to communicate those boundaries. So where you could look on the surface and say that person slept with somebody else, they're cheating, and they're like, nope, that's part of their game.
Yeah, but on like the night you get married, I guess you're supposed to have
it's like a
bachelor
party.
Yeah, do girls like if you don't allow it?
Is that a night for cheating?
Yeah.
People are going to do whatever they're going to do, and
so you
that's
just
why
gotta forget about it.
Well, no, that I'm saying that so
that's
that
your last night.
Well, no, I'm just saying that because I don't want to put this sense of judgment over people who do that.
No, it's their boundaries. It's their communication.
Well, but the thing is, in those moments, there's a lot of people going in with the expectation that, like, it's not necessarily the husband or the husband to be. It's the friends. Like, this is his last night of doing whatever, so we're gonna go and get him shit faced and embarrass the shit out of him and get him laid and all of that shit.
Damn, I can't tell. I can't say that. I can't say that.
But that's the thing.
It's the
it's
girlfriends
not,
too.
Those friends at the end of the day, if they're getting laid or they're having fun and getting a lap dance or whatever, then they're happy. The person who's the husband may not want that. That's why you're starting to see more bachelorette parties where it's both of them doing that thing together.
Okay.
Like, I've seen a lot of those bachelorette parties, which it's awesome when they go to the strip club together.
Yeah.
That's a sign
good
of
time.
good.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's
That
a
should
sign
be
of
a-
I
good
can't
boundaries.
touch the females though. It'd be like that, right? Like,
Well, that depends on the boundaries.
The boundaries.
But then you got to be okay if the man goes up to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start slapping her.
It's the
With
boundaries.
his
though.
It's about the boundaries.
It's
If
about
you are
the
cool with those
boundaries.
boundaries, then you're gonna be okay.
But if you're not, you got to communicate that.
Exactly. And boundaries change. What may have been okay with us one time may not be okay with us the next time.
Okay.
If we can communicate those boundaries, then we're good.
yeah, but what if she keeps asking, like, "Hey, I'm
Are
trying
you
to-
sure?
Are you sure? Are you positive?" I remember that last time I asked you.
Well, then,
She just keeps asking you, "Can I do it? Can I do it?"
Fuck it, damn.
ask if it's a relationship, if it's a deal breaker. If I don't want to do this, is that it? Or are you going to go and pursue that with somebody else? And if that's not within the boundary of our relationship, then see ya.
How do you keep your emotions like such in check? Like when you're
You
talking
don't.
about it, you just
can't.
You know,
Because
emotions.
like I picture him like he's a very like emotional person. I feel like if they were to keep pursuing him,
Logic
he'd
and
be, like,
emotion are two different things. Logic whispers, emotion yells
And
through a
raps.
megaphone.
I'll get
And
pissed.
raps. Yes, emotion can rap too.
I was talking about logic.
But no, logic whispers. Logic will tell you, you shouldn't be doing that. And emotion's going to be like, but I want to.
So is it okay sometimes for an argument to be like, you know what, I'm gonna step away for a second before I say something stupid?
Absolutely. That is a healthy relationship right there. That's a good fighting tactic.
But
Honest
if
to
you're
God.
like, nah,
It is,
you
it
got to
is.
show that you fucking care, though.
Well, no, that shows that you do care. You can walk away and say, to be continued. I'm not
Nah,
walking.
that shows that you don't care to me.
No,
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. No, because
doesn't,
no,
no.
because at the end of the day, what's the problem? At that point, you're yelling and getting angry. How many arguments have we had where it starts as like one thing, but then it becomes something else? Because we got angry and we brought like 10 different
Some
things.
other
into
Oh,
it.
yeah.
bullshit.
It'd be like
Yeah,
that, I guess.
and that's where we got to walk away and be able to say, I'm not walking away from you. I'm not walking away from this argument or the point you're trying to make. I'm walking away from me and my anger, because that's what's taking over right now, and that's what's going to become the problem. I need to walk away. That's something that nobody has the permission to do. Everybody, like we all, on podcasts or in the world, everybody has to be quick-witted and real quick and respond. Nobody gives us the permission to slow down and actually think about what we want to say.
It's true.
Take a minute.
Right.
Do some deep breathing. In through the nose, hold it for a second, out through the mouth, and then
You don't mean
do
you're
that.
going to break up with me? Like that type shit?
Well, no, think about it.
No,
mean,
That's
that's it.
manipulating.
How many situations where you're in that mode where you're like amped up because like there's fighting and arguing? How many of those situations just keep rolling because you're just riding the wave of that energy, that emotion, that anger?
It keeps going.
Yeah.
Keeps going. Yeah.
So
I'll
what
tell
would it
you.
look like if you were to say, time out, I'm walking away from this, I'm not walking away from you, I'm walking away from my anger. I'm going to take 1 minute and do some breathing. Come back. Am I going to be as angry? Am I going to let that same energy carry through? No, I would have at least had a minute to think through the problem.
But it's
You're
still
also
gonna-
giving them a minute to calm the fuck down too.
Exactly.
I feel like that shit still lingers in the air.
Nah, it doesn't.
it doesn't.
I feel like
It-
because
Give me a minute. I
It
need to
does
chill.
linger, but it makes it so that we're not reacting to it out of anger. We're reacting to it now. We're actually trying to take a problem-solving approach to it
Right.
instead of creating more problems by being angry about it. Because how many times have we wasted 30, 40 minutes being angry about something and then slowly like saying, okay, so now what do we got to do?
Yeah.
We could have got to the what do we got to do point already.
Yeah.
We're blowing all of all this energy on anger that's a lot of times not necessary.
Yes.
So take a minute, catch yourself, breathe, millions of Buddhists can't be wrong. Do some breathing exercises. It helps.
Yes,
it does
The
help.
reason why, I don't know,
Breathe.
the reason why, this is a quick breakdown of why breathing exercises work. It matches your breath rate. If you do it right, it matches your breath rate. I don't know how many, if you know how many breaths you take when you're asleep per minute. Anybody?
No.
Nah, I don't-
90. Shit.
What the fuck?
I was talking about like
It's-
90 per like minute.
you
It's like,
sleep for 2 minutes,
it's like
dog?
6 to 10 on average per minute when you're asleep. So when you do deep breathing exercises, you're slowing your breath rate down to where you're at when you're sleeping. So
Actually,
your
yeah.
body naturally slows
itself
itself down. It's almost
That's
like you're
true.
tricking it into thinking it's time to go to bed.
I went to sleep with meditation music last night. I realized that.
Yeah.
Your breathing was probably slow.
It was. I knocked out quick as fuck.
So
too.
if they're going off on you on text message, is it okay just to send that text message back and be like, I'm gonna call you in 20 minutes? Just
Yeah, that's okay. Like you can just say, I see where you're going. Give me a little bit. I am going to respond. I need a moment. You're allowed to say that. It'll probably piss the other person off.
Yeah.
But
pisses me off.
No, but that's mature as fuck.
But that's the thing. If we're both pissed off going in, then it's just going to be constantly bickering back and forth. One person has to be the one to pull the plug and say, you know what, let's take a sec.
I agree. I do that.
I definitely agree. You do that too?
I do that.
I do that too.
I won't say anything, but I'll just stop responding for a minute, and then I'll be like, all right, let me just.
It's because you don't care.
Call.
No, well, but no, I realized that it actually, like, you know, she actually like gets the message too, and sometimes we'll talk earlier than maybe that time period, and she'll be like, all right, I'm ready to talk. Like,
yeah.
Everything's calm now. Like,
let's calm down.
Yeah.
Rather than if you're really going at each other like emotionally, it's gonna end bad.
Well, and think about it. How many arguments are those like that where people are going back and forth? It's like, and a lot of times when I worked with the military, that was a big thing. Was like you get a command and you have to react right on the spot. Yeah. They don't have permission to wait. Otherwise, they die. Yeah. Like, if you're not in the military and you're not in a combat area, you actually have permission to wait. You have permission to take a minute. Mm-hmm. There's no point in rushing and chasing our anger into bad decisions.
Right. Like a free throw. When you're taking a free throw, they say take your time.
I like a good basketball reference, man. Thank you.
For real.
Yeah. No, you people have the permission to slow down things and take a breath and let the solution come to them instead of chasing problems with their anger.
So where do you disagree with that then? Because you're shaking your head.
Because I just don't like, I don't know. It just shows, I feel like that shit means like you don't care.
So if she did that to you, like, you know what, Frank, let's take a second because I could tell you're getting mad. I'm going to step away.
So my question would be, does anger mean you care? Why does anger equal caring?
It's just because it doesn't help, but like it doesn't show that you. It just shows that you care. Like
no, it just shows
you're
that
walking
angry.
away from things.
If you walk away and you say to be continued, you walk away. If you don't care about somebody, you walk away. You don't come back.
Yeah, but if you get blocked, right?
But that's another story.
Yeah, no, but if you get blocked to get unblocked every time.
Oh yeah, then that's like the other person needs to find a better way of conflict resolution that doesn't involve completely shutting someone out. Communicate. What happens whenever you're blocking someone? You're shutting off communication.
Right.
I didn't see it that way.
So would you say that the people that are doing that are not ready for a relationship?
They may have not been ready for a relationship with that person.
Oh.
They might be able to be ready for a relationship with the right fit, but that doesn't mean that that person that they broke up with was the right fit. They may not ever be ready for a relationship with that person.
So I feel like what he's thinking is like he views like the fight, like her, like that anger is showing that she cares.
Yeah,
no,
that's
like
correct, right?
If I hang up, right, you gotta call me back because I know when I hang up, I call you back right away.
Or when she hangs up, you call her back.
Yeah. Like you can't show that same energy back.
Well, that's the thing is, think about how much destruction comes up from the anger when you're trying to show love at that point. How many feelings have to get run over for someone to effectively show you that they love them?
Oh, yeah, you get told the stupid shit.
Yeah, like you go through the fights and then it's like, this is how we argue. This is how we love each other. If you guys have kids, then the kids are going to end up thinking that love is fighting.
Yeah, off my mom.
Yeah, I've seen it.
My mom.
Seen it.
I've seen it too.
So how would he like change his mindset to something like that?
Taking a breath. Slowing down the game. A lot of times if we're angry, pay attention to where, this is a hard thing to do. If we're angry or we're amped up, pay attention to how you're breathing. I guarantee you, your breath rate is short and shallow and just barely enough to stay alive. Damn. It's like just barely enough to keep your eyes open. You're like...
You're just hearing the bullshit on the other side of the phone.
I feel like that's like happened to me where I've been like in like the middle of a fight and I'm kind of like going off on texting and then I put the phone down and I kind of just like see it and I notice like I'm pissed the fuck off and like wait, dude, when I don't get mad that often, so when I get like mad over like texting and shit, I'd be like, fuck, like.
Yeah, and think about it. In that moment, it feels like we're getting bombarded with all these negative thoughts, and it's like every breath we take is one more negative thought. You're like, like it's throwing darts at you.
Yeah.
If we slow it down, take a deep breath, it's almost like our breath rate controls how fast the thoughts hit us. If we're able to say, okay, slow down. For that breath, you've just made it so that the thoughts aren't hitting you. So if you can take a minute of that breathing, it slows it down so that you're not letting anger and frustration pelt you over and over again with every quick breath. You slow things down. They call it mindfulness, where you're making it so that you're actually paying attention to how your body is processing in those moments when we're angry.
Yeah, but that makes you think about the problem more, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
That's the whole point of the exercise.
It slows you
focus
down.
You're trying to
breathing.
slow it down.
You focus on the breathing.
Because you're going to be there by yourself anyways.
Yeah.
And you're going to have those negative thoughts coming in.
Yeah.
If you slow down the breath, it makes it so that those thoughts come at you a little bit slower so that you can actually process it faster. So you can make a decision based off of it that's not one that's chasing anger. I haven't seen too many people make good decisions when they're angry.
Facts.
Right.
Shit, me either.
The term gaslighting has become like super popular. Like nowadays, like what is like your actual like definition of gaslighting? And like I feel like it's like super
It's vague.
loosely used now.
Yeah,
like oh, you're gaslighting me. But
Yeah. It's basically getting somebody, from what I see, getting somebody to believe something that isn't true just because of control. Just for the purpose of controlling them or keeping them where they're at. Like, the truth will make them want to go elsewhere. So you're telling them stuff that isn't true and making it so that they're fighting their best instincts. They know something is up. They know something different. But you're telling them that the sky is green.
Yeah.
Fuck you up.
Yeah.
But
Like-
a lot of people use it in like arguments.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that'll fuck you up. That's like overly used.
So
Yeah.
like telling somebody like, no, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, well, like, let's say the person has hard evidence that you cheated on them, and you are telling them, that wasn't me, I didn't do it, you're crazy. You got anybody who thinks that I did that would be crazy. You're crazy. And it's like, no, I'm not crazy, I have the evidence. That's not me, that's not true, that's bullshit. And then coming up with ways to make the person feel bad for having any suspicious thoughts about them. That's gaslighting. Making it's like, how dare you? Like, one way that people gaslight people is and it shows a problem with the relationship to begin with, but when somebody looks at the other person's cell phone and sees something on there, and then the person who gets caught is like, what the hell were you doing looking at my cell phone?
Yeah.
True.
And it's like, that's the gaslighting. You were cheating. You gave them reason to be suspicious. Is there something wrong with them invading your privacy? Abso-fucking-lutely. It
Yes,
speaks
it
louder
is.
to a bigger problem within the relationship.
Yeah.
You guys need to work on that first. But
They got you. Yeah.
yeah, at that point, it's like, okay, so do you want me to start listing off the number of ways this relationship is fucked? Because it's from the top to the bottom at that point. One person doesn't trust the other person, and the other person is giving them very good reason to not trust them.
Damn.
Spot on.
So like, yeah, that's like a big thing. I feel like the whole like checking phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's healthy.
If you
I don't think it's
have
healthy at
no,
all.
it's not. It
Yeah,
shows
no, it's
that
not healthy.
it shows a distrusting relationship. However, if somebody is giving you reason to be suspicious, then that's something that's like, you've given me reason, cause to look.
Okay.
The fact that I actually have the desire, the urge to look into your phone shows that there's something systemically wrong with the relationship from a trust level.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't have to do with that relationship. It could be involving that one individual in that relationship having their trust violated at some point in the past, so they have to go and check the phone to make themselves feel secure in the relationship. That's a systemic problem. That's wrong. That's something that needs to be addressed for the relationship to work. However, there may be a guy that's like, you know what? If she's checking my phone, that might mean she cares more. That's a sign that she cares.
Yeah.
So then he's going to be like, oh yeah, please check my phone.
go ahead,
It
do
means
what
that
you
you
gotta
care
do.
about me enough to invade my privacy. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, well, there's something systemically wrong with this relationship, but you guys are compatible.
So is that
So-
is,
So-
Shit,
So you guys are going to work.
is that considered like seeking validation though?
It's not necessarily seeking validation. Whenever you're looking at a phone, it's trying to.
But I'm saying like the feel good, like go check my phone. I know I'm not doing nothing.
Well, for some people it is, but it's answering to the other person's insecurity. At that point, the other person is super insecure about something, and they have to check your phone.
Do it then. Go ahead.
And that's the thing. If you have nothing to hide, show it. But there are people who have a problem with exposing their privacy. And sometimes it's because they have something to hide. And sometimes it's because it's like, don't you trust me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem, is that the people who have something to hide use that line. Don't you trust me?
It's a classic.
Hey, no, Loki. I know you kind of killed me right there because I was going to say, like I would let my significant other check my phone. I have no problem with that. Yeah. But as soon as she's like maybe like, oh, I need to go through your phone or something like that, I would kind of feel like, what the fuck?
Why don't you trust me? What did I do to violate our trust?
Right. Should I go through your phone?
Yeah, that's what I might start
and
thinking.
That's the thing. A lot of times when people are starting to look at another person's phone, they're projecting their own issue out on someone else. They may be doing something themselves, and they're trying to like
even up.
Not even even out or keep score. It's like they're projecting their issue out on the other person so that the other person, and this is gaslighting as well, they're making it like constantly suspicious of the other person cheating as a way to distract the other person from looking at them and their cheating.
Yes.
I agree with that.
I understand that.
I understand that, but what if... Never mind. You know what? Yeah. You're doing... Yeah.
I don't have anybody else question.
No, you answered it. All the questions
answered a lot.
I think we had a lot of great questions. And
did I see a Final Fantasy question on there?
Yes, there was. Are you a Final Fantasy fan?
Yes, I am actually.
All right.
I'm doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy 9 right now.
Okay. So this one's a question for Final Fantasy 7. If you had to ship 3 couples from Final Fantasy 7, who would they be?
Ship?
Yeah.
What do you mean by ship?
Like put them in a relationship.
Oh, geez. All 3 of them? Okay, Red 13 and Barrett, obviously. Those 2 are a couple made in heaven.
Okay.
Those guys snuggle on a daily basis, I'm convinced.
Okay. I don't know who these people are. So.
I would say Vincent Valentine and give them 5 years. Vincent and Yuffie would be a good couple. And then I would, just because it's like, do you go with experience and knowing a relationship between 2 people who have been together for a long ass time has a better chance of working? Or do you go with the relationship that's brand new, who's showing all of the love and fire? I would have to go Cloud and Aerith.
Okay. I play Cloud on Super Smash Bros.
That's his man right there, Cloud.
I'll fuck anybody up on
Is that like your game right now?
I played it when it came out the first time, loved it. I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. 6 is still the best of all of them.
I used to play them on the Game Boy.
Nice.
I probably played them like at least like 8 times.
Yeah. No, that one 6 is great. 7 was the first video game that visually told the story in a way that like felt like it was really like it had some reality behind it. 6 had a better story, but the visuals didn't match. 10 was awesome as far as the visuals. 9 is the most underrated of them. 12 is easily one of my favorites, but that one gets shit on because the gameplay was different and it needed to be different. And 13 sucked ass. 14 is the best MMO today, and 15 was okay. 15 had its moments.
Are they on 15 right now?
15 just passed a couple years ago. They did the 7 remake. That one is awesome. That one was a great game. They're working on 16 now, and that one I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
What kind of games are you focused on right now? Are you still gaming?
Well, hell yeah. I'm doing the run through on Final Fantasy 9 again. I play Rocket League a lot. That's the one that, because I'm an old basketball player, that's the only video game that gives me the same itch that basketball gave me. Once my body couldn't do that stuff anymore, Rocket League was the only game that made it so that my body physically moved to try to block a shot. Like before other games, I would just be sitting there. This is the first time that I'm like trying to do like a soccer block on a goal or some shit.
True.
You never got into like NBA 2K?
Oh, I was a huge 2K fan. I used to kill everybody in 2K I used to just because I understood how the game used to work, and then it just.
It changed.
Well, for me, it got different. It got sad because I aged out. You know, the creative player mode. There's a certain age you can't go past. And then I was like, well, fuck, I'm too old now. And so I played it a couple more years after that. But then they didn't make. There's no competition for it, so there's nothing motivating it to get any better. Yeah. It's just the same thing every year now.
Yeah.
And before, like I had the same problem with Madden because up until 2005, you had a better football game on the market, and it was 2K. 2K football was better than Madden by light years. They were doing stuff like that that Madden still hasn't figured out, like in-helmet first-person football.
Oh, yeah,
they did a season with that in 2005.
I remember that.
They NFL signed the exclusive rights with Madden, and all the competition to Madden went out the door. All of the motivation for them to improve the product went out the door. Mm-hmm. That's why we keep seeing lackluster stuff coming out of EA.
It's just like the graphics getting better.
Yeah, like EA WWE was lackluster a couple years ago, and then they realized we need to actually put more work into this.
There's no street football no more.
That's the big part
NBA Jam.
That's the one I'm talking about.
None of those.
EA back in the day,
it was sick.
They had a division of EA called EA Big.
Yeah.
And that's the one where SSX.
I have that in my room right now.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought the Xbox just for that game.
That's where games like SSX came out, that were just awesome games. That was where NBA or NFL Blitz came out of, and all of those games. Best basketball game of all time is one that came out of EA Big. It was NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh, yeah. I had that one in my room.
I had that one. I had that one on PS2.
I have it right here.
On PS2.
Best basketball game ever made, because that one actually got to the soul of basketball.
That shit was sick.
That one you didn't have, like, all of the other things, the other games were like, we're going to try and make this look as real and as, as simulation-like as possible. Yeah. And they we're like, we're just going to get to what, like, the core and the soul of the game was.
We can punch each other, like, all that shit in that game.
Well, the soul of the game was, like, street ball. Yeah, they had all the real courts on it. Rucker was in it. They had all of that stuff. They made it so that it was about the street ball style. It was about that game changed so much, and then it just disappeared because they just stopped. EA stopped trying to fund innovation and just went with, these are the things that make us money, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the last like EA like Street was like 2010.
Yeah, and that one wasn't that good.
Yeah, it wasn't all that.
The old ones are cool.
Yeah, Volume 2 is amazing, and best soundtrack of any game that I've heard.
That's the one with Marbury on the front, right? Is it?
Was it? No, that was 2K. Marbury was on Iverson and Marbury. I think were on 2K. The one that had Volume 2, it had Dr. J on the cover.
Oh yeah. With his fro. With the fro.
Yeah. He's wearing sweats, right?
Yeah, he's got the old ABA red, white, and blue ball.
Yeah. That shit was fucking
It was
legit.
sick.
Yeah. I used to play all of the NBA games, and then I think 2K17, it just wasn't hitting for me anymore.
16 was the last best one.
I stopped at
probably
2K12.
Yeah. Plus, basketball took a different energy for me after Kobe died. I couldn't watch it the same. I was like, I am the biggest basketball fan you'll probably ever meet, and after that happened, I could not watch a game. I couldn't watch.
So what are your thoughts on LeBron? I know we're kind of going long into this.
Oh, no problem. LeBron is, from a physical aspect, the best player to ever play the game. His mentality is the one thing that stops him from being the actual best player ever. And
because he just doesn't know when to take over or something?
Well, no, it's just like he shifted his approach later on, and he started to become much more conscious of how, like, to take care of himself,
his body,
and but also like how to approach the game. Mm-hmm. Like, he matured. Yeah. Where, like, I wouldn't call Kobe the best player either. Magic Johnson's the best player of all time. And
what about Jordan?
I think LeBron's better than Magic.
I think
is a more improved
LeBron
Magic.
has the tools off the bat to be better than Magic. He was more athletic, jumped higher. The thing is, Magic was smarter.
Magic was smart as
this is the thing, the argument that I always make with people with Kobe and Jordan, is that Kobe was a better basketball player than Jordan. From a skills perspective, he knew how to do everything. Jordan didn't have the capability of scoring 81 points in a game. Yeah. The thing is, Jordan was smarter. Jordan was like, where Kobe would put himself in situations where he didn't have to, where he would have to be where he'd be forced to put up a shot that's like miraculous, and he'll make it. He'll still sink
like,
it.
Oh shit, that's only Kobe can do that.
How many crazy shots throughout Jordan's career have you seen him make that weren't like the exception are the layups where he's going to the basket and he's like doing some acrobatic layups. But how many like fadeaways going out of bounds have we seen in Jordan highlights? Not that many. Those are all over Kobe highlights because Kobe wasn't as smart as Jordan was. Jordan knew how to get to his positions on the court and knew how not to get bumped off of them. He knew when to defer to the teammates more. Kobe figured that out later, way later. Yeah. And the best season of his career got cut off because the best season of his career, everybody likes it, like the 81 point. That wasn't his best season. His best season was the season where he tore his Achilles. Up until that game, he had, I think, a streak of 3 games in a row where he had triple doubles, and like getting like huge numbers, setting his personal career best on assists, and still putting up the numbers with the points. Like he was awesome.
He's a shit.
He was going off.
And then the Achilles injury happened, and that for me was like it took the part where for me the arguments I had against Kobe's gameplay, where it was like where he would try to take on the entire other team by himself. He finally figured out that some of the other teammates around him are actually good.
Yeah, like Ron Artest. Like Ron Artest, all of them, like Bynum. Bynum was cool.
Bynum was dope.
Yeah, that's what sucks too. They don't have that team. Like they have every single other team, like 07, Cleveland, all of them. Like
they're not. Boston. They don't have that in any.
They don't. No, they have it, but they don't have like the old like Kobe, like when he was with Bynum, Odom, all that. Yeah. I don't know why they don't have that.
That would be nice to see. It would be because they have like Jordan in almost every phase of his career.
And now they have on the game on 2K, you can actually play Jordan's. Well, they had it in the past, but they updated. You could play as Jordan's career, like when he was at Syracuse, all that.
I mean North Carolina.
Oh shit, North Carolina. That's fuck.
Carmelo Anthony went to Syracuse.
Yeah. That was my bad.
Yeah. But yeah, the game, I loved watching and playing 2K for a long time, but then the game just fizzled for me. I just couldn't. It just didn't feel right anymore. Yeah. Like it became too easy to know. Like if you draw a double team and kick it out, a guy will hit the open three. He'll have if you play it enough, you can know how the game is going to react to things. Like
you're good players.
It'll give you like a boost in the game if you are wide open taking a shot. So if you draw a double team and then kick it out, the person who's kicking it out, if that person has a high assist rating, then that person who's wide open is gonna have a higher likelihood of making the shot. Yeah. So it's like you just had to know who to place in specific positions.
That's how it is. Like you could do that in this 2K too. But
last question: do you think Westbrook is shot?
You
have any faith in him this season?
I never had any faith in him to begin with.
Why not?
Yeah.
He was one of the most freakish athletes in NBA history. I've never seen a player do
the most athletic point guard ever.
Easily.
He's lit, huh?
Sure.
The problem was that he bought into that, and he didn't actually develop any game beyond that. Yeah. Usually when you hear about Westbrook and they say, well, he's not a 3-point shooter. You shouldn't expect that from him. Well, he was good at mid-range for a while. Last year, he was one of the worst mid-range shooters. He shot shots multiple shots over the backboard. Yeah. The thing that happened was, if you look at it, he's not getting any lift on his shots. He lost his legs. He was going to the basket every time before everybody. If he went to the basket, he was dunking on people.
Yeah, he was jumping.
Last year, if he dunked, it was like something that everybody was like, whoa, oh my God, he dunked.
Yeah, finally.
He's scared of being explosive.
Well, and it's not even scared. He's just too old. His body He's not. Other players know how to adapt their game and develop other parts of their game to make up for it when they get old. Kobe was an example of that.
Kobe was good. Yeah,
Jordan was an example of that. Karl Malone, all of these guys that played later on were ones that knew how to adjust and adapt their game so they weren't relying on their athleticism or their physicality anymore. Dirk, exactly.
Shit, LeBron, I think, too.
Well, LeBron, he's developed his game. Now, last year, he was one of the more effective 3-point shooters the Lakers had, which wasn't saying
that's
much.
Crazy.
But Westbrook, once if he's not going to be able to shoot threes and he doesn't have the athleticism to finish at the basket, like he missed a ton of layups. His field goal percentage around the basket was one of the lowest in the league. It makes it so that, I'm sorry, he just didn't have, how can we say he had it? He wasn't himself.
But this is his first year, though.
But no,
this is second.
We're going into his second year with the Lakers.
But exactly.
He was the highest paid player on the roster.
But he didn't have bright lights shined on him before.
It doesn't matter.
Well,
You're still paying him fucking $42
million. The NBA
million.
has bright lights. The thing is, it's the mentality he had, where it's like, get out of my way. I'm going to take the ball and go, and everybody just get open. Where other coaches, and when he had the athleticism, he could get away with that because he could finish at the basket. He was fast enough and could jump high enough to do it.
That's why everybody left him.
If he's not finishing at the basket, then nobody's leaving the defenders. He's throwing the ball into the stands. That's what we saw a lot of last year. Was he was getting more turnovers than just about anybody in the league.
You can correct it though this year, I think.
I hope so. Let's see.
He will have to, otherwise his career's over. Effectively, it's over. Nobody's gonna like he may get those minutes. May get veteran minimum contracts after that. But if it turns out where the Lakers have to waive him, or they're like, we can't deal with this anymore, he's going to get a contract somewhere else, but he'll know that like his career at that point's over.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same. He needs to adjust and adapt for losing his legs. He's not getting any lift on his jump shots, and when you can see it when he's trying to finish at the rim. He's going up like he's trying to dunk, and then he's like 6 inches too low on it, so then he's trying to adjust it to a layup, and it's bouncing off the rim. He doesn't have the old skill. He has to adapt his game.
Mr. West.
Or he just has to slow it down.
That would be helpful. That would be helpful.
Doesn't.
But he doesn't know that.
But that's the thing.
Do that.
Well, Westbrook needs to
if you're not shooting from the, if you can't shoot from the outside, the middle, or the inside, then if all you have is your athleticism and get whatever point on the court that you can get to, then you have to be a great passer, and he's just never been that.
Yeah, but he could get rebounds like crazy, and he's that point guard.
That is his one skill that he has above anybody else. He will get more rebounds and create more second attempts and opportunities for people. The problem is he's kind of part of the reason why they need so many second attempts and have so many missed shots.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie.
So it's...
This is his worst year ever.
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for next year just because
we'll see.
I want the Lakers to strive.
Believe me, there's no bigger Laker fan out there, and I want them to win. But when they signed Westbrook, when they traded for Westbrook, I was like, that was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Because he was never, even when he had all the athleticism and had all-star teammates, he couldn't figure out that they were the ones that needed to carry the load, and he's the guy that was the escape hatch. He kept trying to be the superstar.
They were all young, though.
And we could give him that excuse, but that approach never changed. There's reasons why Durant didn't want to play with him anymore.
This is his first team, though. This is his first
first Laker team.
Yeah,
but he also played with Durant and Harden in OKC.
Yeah, OKC's not a big type of.
But it's not like he was born and raised in a small town. He's an LA guy.
He
knows what, and he goes to all these fashion weeks and stuff like that. He is used to all of that, all the lights. The problem is that he started to insist on his athleticism and thinking that it was always going to be there, and it's not. And he has to develop something new. The footage that I've been seeing of him, hitting 5-6 3-pointers in a row practice, great sign. Love seeing that. It's a different. It's a different thing when you're doing it at game speed. If you notice when he's shooting those shots in those highlights, he's not getting any lift on those shots. If he adjusted his shot to account for his lack of athleticism, then that might actually be something good.
Okay.
That might work.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt this year.
Yeah, because I'm probably the only person with his fucking jersey.
And he's got a lot to prove.
He does have a lot to prove.
Last year he didn't play up to his own standard.
Yeah.
So he needs to be able to, he has something to prove, and there's a lot of money riding on it for him too. Because this is a contract year for him. He is the highest paid player on the roster right now. How he plays next year determines how much he makes going on his last big contract.
Yeah.
So he's going to want to cash out on something big. And if he plays like shit this year or gets waived or something, that next contract's going to be
So then he knows he has to play his heart out this year.
Yeah, he has something to prove, and I'm waiting to see how that works.
Oh,
Did I want the Lakers to trade him? Absolutely. Would I have traded him for a roll of athletic tape? In a heartbeat. I would have gotten more use out of him on this team, out of a roll of athletic tape than Westbrook on a team with 4 other point guards
everybody deserves a second chance.
I agree. But they have 4 other point guards. They have Pat Bev. Yeah. They got Schroeder back. They got a bunch of other people who are competing for that.
They got Braun that could almost run
exactly.
it by
they got Braun. Yeah. Well, THT he's gone.
He got traded.
Yeah, he's gone. I would have traded for not a superstar, 2 or 3 legit players that can actually like shoot and fill the roles, play some defense. Because Lakers sucked on defense last year and couldn't hit an outside shot.
Hey, but no, what about Davis? Davis is a glass man for the
he was hurt most of last year.
Yeah, so you gotta give Westbrook credit for at least being there at every damn game.
Absolutely, but
he's never missed a game in his NBA career.
How much credit do we give the guy for showing up? Well, how much?
Okay.
How much credit do we give the guy who shows up to play in almost every game when the record is 33-49?
Well, where's
it's almost like it'd be better if
you didn't play. Yay, you showed up to suck.
Yeah. But AD's injuring himself every.
And the Lakers, part of the problem was the injuries, absolutely. But the problems that existed with Westbrook were there from the moment he walked in, the first game, and they never changed. It's just at the end, it's like, is Westbrook going to come in and work with this team that had already won a championship with each other? Or is he going to come in and then everybody's going to say, okay, well, he's going to do what he's going to do? And that's what ended up happening. The Lakers tried to get him to bend, and he was like, no, I'm doing it my way. And then players got injured, and it made it so that he had more space to just do whatever he want and still not win.
Didn't work.
Yeah, they didn't win. And that, at the end of the day, is what people like. A guy worth $47 million in the NBA should be worth at least a playoff berth.
Yeah, true. I agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah. Westbrook, you have a lot of shit to prove.
Yes,
he does, and I have a lot of hope. But at the same time, I also know the Lakers are shopping him, and I will not be mad if they deal him.
I hope they don't.
They are. Yeah, I hope they trade his ass.
No, fuck you.
They are.
Leave him alone.
Well, we want to thank you, Sam, for coming on our podcast.
Hey, this is the most fun I've had in fucking years. I'm glad you.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We're glad you came. I honestly wanted to go more in on the basketball shit.
Yeah. Oh god, but believe me, I can go in on basketball all day.
We could probably do a part 2, something like that.
Hopefully soon.
Also, too, if any of our followers want to seek your help, like how do they get into contact with you?
That's a good question. On psychologytoday.com, you can go and find my profile on there. It's Sam Zia. If you want my license number, it's 106352. You can find me on there if you have any questions. Reach me on social media if you just want to ask me quick questions like mental health questions or whatever. I'm more than happy to help.
Sounds good. Everything will be in the description.
Perfect.
So if you need help, if you want to talk to him, link right there.
Make sure to check him out. He's been
Mr. Sam,
amazing.
Not only a therapist, but also a basketball analyst.
Oh yeah,
analyst.
That was how I got my start in radio. I swear, it's like I've been doing basketball longer than I've been doing mental health stuff.
Hey, you gotta come coach us then.
Oh, I can talk about that.
I need to bring out the PlayStation so we can play.
I'm down. Let's do this.
Fun podcast. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, Sam.
Love you guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good night.